Hi, Bill Nye.
Okay, let's start right now. I first wanted to do this recording because it's one of the top hits right now about explaining what evolution it is using emojis. And I wanted to go through and show just how ridiculous and how much they have reduced the minds of the public into thinking this is easy. This is as easy as we all just came about, and how ridiculous it is. All right, let's move on here. So here's Bill Nye, and he's explaining it.
Emoji. Take a look at this one. It's a molecule. And a molecule.
Look, that's just look how easy look how easy molecules are. There's a molecule. It's so easy. Look at it. I don't think so.
Just happened. Look at any asteroid. It's loaded with amino acids.
Okay, let's just jump to asteroids. An asteroid is a very complex. And where did an asteroid come from in the first place? It came from somewhere, and it's a very complex item full of chemicals and elements that are not simple, and they came about through a very complex process. Let's move on.
Oxygen. Well, somehow, probably with energy.
Somehow, probably, mysteriously, let's just skip all that and just say it happened.
These molecules hooked together. And
They just hooked up, just like they just had a conscious thought. They said, you know what? I think we should hook up. These molecules, they don't have a brain. They have no conscious thought of their own. They just decided to do it.
accidentally found ways to reproduce them.
It's easy. They just started reproducing. They found a way, as if they had a conscious, intelligent thought. Think about it. Let's back up. An inanimate, here you have a molecule. It has no brain of its own. It's just floating out somewhere. And it became conscious and decided to do this. Instead of accepting the fact that there was an intelligent creator who put these things together, these things, without thought of their own, just created themselves.
It's the same way crystals reproduce if you leave them alone.
Yeah, just crystals just can do it on their own too. Crystals somewhere back in the millennial past just decided to make themselves in a way in which they can decide on their own to replicate. Just happened.
Anyway, these self-replicating molecules.
Anyway, let's not put too much thought to that. Anyway, it just happened.
Not make perfect copies of themselves, and the imperfections that help them make more copies.
Yes, imperfection creates perfection. Doesn't that violate like scientific law?
Stayed there, kept getting reproduced and reproduced and reproduced. And
Look, the emojis, they're so simple. It's just the same way that evolution occurred. Did you know that Sir Frederick Hoyle, one of the greatest astronomers who ever lived, did the calculations to determine what are the chances that evolution came about by random chance? The chances of that are one number in a number followed by 40,000 zeros. That goes way beyond the time continuum that is used to explain evolution. In other words, billions of years ago, this just happened. No, the statistical chance, by random chance, of things occurring on their own, statistically, that amount of time, billions of years, even trillions of years, would not factor into the play of all of this coming about by random chance. And time is a factor, and they cannot explain that, so they just use some emojis to say, it was just simple. Just don't even think about it.
soon you had complicated things like bacteria. And then you got...
Look at that. It was so simple. Look at the little bacteria on the screen. Look at that.
multiple bacteria becoming multicellular organisms like
It just happened.
poison ivy plants,
Multicellular. It's easy.
and sea jellies, and
All that stuff is so simple, right? It's not complex at all. It didn't require like super intelligent, even the cell, millions and millions of times over. The chances of that occurring is so random that it's not even feasible scientifically. But here he is explaining to school kids and even to adults, just saying, just accept, it's so easy. Just happen.
My old boss. And the key to this is time.
Time. One chance in a number followed by 40,000 zeros. The time factor does not play in this. The time factor does not explain evolution. There is no examples of the jump from one species, from one creature. We have no scientific evidence of a jump. All we can ever find in history is complicated sources of elements and cells and beings all existing. In fact, what we find is de-evolution. We find more complicated things, and then we find them going in the area of destruction and less complicated, de-evolution. We have no signs of evolution. Time, emoji, simple.
Then they realized it was at least a few hundreds of millions of years old. Well, now, using radioactivity, we can tell you that the Earth is...
No, radioactivity, carbon dating has all been explained. What he's trying to say is that there has been no example in the past of accelerated through the space. In the Bible, you'll read, and it says that God stretched the heavens. He stretched the space-time continuum, which would accelerate time in itself. So if you take space and you stretch it, you will accelerate what seems to be time. It seems like something would be millions of years old, and when in reality it can be a few thousand years old. Still, time is not a factor in what they're explaining with carbon dating or anything like that. They have found that this only I can't even get into that. So stupid what he's saying.
0.54 billion years old. A lot can happen in 4.5 billion years. Get a mirror.
And there are like only 9 zeros in a billion. So how many zeros is 40,000 in terms of mathematical calculations? 4 billion years doesn't explain it.
Take a look at yourself. We are all a result of evolution.
We are. Look how simple. We're little emojis. It was so simple. Like evolution is such a simple process. It's like just drawing a little cartoon on there. So cute.
This has been Emojical Science. This has been
Science. Emojis explaining science. It's so easy. Just accept it.
Emojical. I mean, we used emojis to tell the story of science.
No, we did not show any science.
Scientific, imaginized. We imaginized it.
Yeah, that's about as simple as your brain has to be to try to accept this.
The way you might do if you had too many Jello shots.
Yeah. Okay, so there you were. This is what's going on in the explanation of evolution. Let's just reduce it down to cartoon images and explain it all away, when in fact science and this it's just silly, all of this. True science, when we look at the complication of everything that's going on, when we look how complicated cells are in the formation of the human eye, and even going back in time in the layers and the strata of deposits throughout the world, and we find every creature imaginable all in the same geological time scale. Evolution is just wiped clean when you find this, and these scientists are taking the evidence and hiding it. And you don't get to see it, so they just use simple things like this to continue to try to brainwash you and children. It's just stupid. That's all I got to say about that.